Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Vought, I appreciated the opportunity to meet with you last week, but I do continue to have very serious concerns regarding your nomination, starting with your position and record on impoundments. I do not believe what happened in the case of withholding security assistance to Ukraine in 2019 while you were acting OMB director was an accident or a misunderstanding. And I fear it is actually a harbinger of what is to come these next 4 years. In fact, on his first day in office, we saw the president order, among other things, what appears to be an illegal deferral of Inflation Reduction Act, bipartisan infrastructure law, and foreign assistance funds, as Senator Merkley referred to. And Mr. Vought, your written response when pressed on this, that you will follow the advice of the incoming OMB General Counsel, Mark Paoletta, someone who has called the Impoundment Control Act a stupid law, and recently tweeted at you to impound, baby, impound, is a bit rich. Look, as I said to you at our meeting, members of Congress on both sides must know a deal is a deal. A deal is a deal when we reach a bipartisan agreement on major legislation. Agreements cannot happen, and Congress cannot function without that level of trust. And impound, baby, impound is not the answer I am looking for. So I want to ask you today, will you, if confirmed as director, faithfully follow the law, the Impoundment Control Act, yes or no?
Senator, we will faithfully uphold the law. The president ran on the notion that the Impoundment Control Act is unconstitutional. I agree with that. I would, in response to both questions, say that what the president has unveiled already are not impoundments. They are programmatic
Has the impoundment
delays.
law ever been said to be unconstitutional by a court of law?
Not to my knowledge,
it
Senator,
has
no.
not. So it is the law of the land. I don't care what the president said when he was running. It is the law of the land. So will you follow that law if you are confirmed to this office?
Senator, the president and his team is going to go through a review with our lawyers, if confirmed, including the Department of Justice, to explore the parameters of the law with regard to the Impoundment Control Act. He hasn't developed a strategy that he's announced as it pertains to how he would approach it. There are pieces of legislation that have been proposed by members of this committee.
We propose legislation all the time. If the rule of the law in a state is that it's a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, you can't just say, well, I think that's irresponsible and I'm going to challenge it, so therefore I don't have to follow it. The impoundment law is the law. Will you follow it or not? You can say that we're going to look at it and might challenge it in court, but it is the law today. Will you follow that law as director?
Senator, the reason why the president ran on this is that 200 years of presidents had this
You're
authority
telling me
to
why you
manage
don't agree with the
taxpayer
law,
resources.
but the law is the law. Will you follow the law?
And what he found in the first term was that we had agencies that would push out spending at the end of the fiscal year.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to take my time back for a minute and just tell all of us. We work all the time on appropriations where I am ranking member to come to an agreement. Senator Graham, you and I work on agreements and we decide, yeah, okay, we'll both vote for this. We have an agreement. How can we ever have an agreement in the future if a president, whoever he or her may be in the future, has say over that, saying, never mind, I'm not going to pay for this part of it. We have to have agreements. It is the law of the land. And I have to say that your answer to this should be disconcerting to every single member on this committee. I have a minute left, and I want to ask you another important question to me, because as director of the powerful Office of Management and Budget, your job will not be merely to execute the president's agenda. It is also to advise the president on policy, as you've made clear. So I want to ask about women's health policy. You were a lead author of the Anti-Abortion Project 2025. You were also caught just a few months ago saying that when it comes to abortion, you, quote, want to get to abolition. Now, everyone should understand that abolition means zero abortions under any circumstance whatsoever. So, Mr. Vought, you have said that you don't believe in exceptions for rape, for incest, or life of the mother? Is that your position?
Senator, my views are not important. I'm here on behalf of the president
Well,
as his
you-
nominee to restore fiscal accountability.
I'm asking you a question under oath, sir, because you want to be director of an office that will advise the president, and we have a right to know your views. Will you answer the question?
I will, Senator, because it's consistent with the views that the president ran on repeatedly. He made his views very clear on abortion with regard in the last election.
Even in the case of rape, incest, life of the mother?
That is his view, and I will strictly abide by the president's view, and that will be a general theme throughout this entire hearing. My view of the position is that you come into an administration and you do what the president ran on, what the president's viewpoints are, and you take that viewpoint and you
don't need
dispense
to
it
say
throughout
anything
the
else.
agency.
My time is up. It's very clear what your stance is on this, and people in this country, women and men alike, should know that.